Okay, so in this video, what we're going to do is we're just going to look at the documentation. I want to go over that briefly. Um, the Express documentation. So it is expressjs.com, expressjs.com. Okay, let me copy that, paste that for you people. All right, so um, here you can see Express, fast, unopinionated, minimalist web framework for Node.js. All the stuff that I mentioned in the slides earlier. Um, and this is version 5.1.0. That's the LTS version, the one that we've been using. And so you can see here's like a simple app, kind of like what we just did. Const Express gets require Express. Const app gets an instance of Express. Port 3000. App.get. Request response. Response.send hello world. And listen on the port. It's that easy. Okay. Um. So let's look through the documentation. Particularly, let's if we go to get started, uh, basic routing, because we're gonna do a lot of routing. Okay. um, the ones that we're gonna be using quite a bit are get, post, may do a little bit of put. I think we'll do some put at some point. We're not going to really use delete, but we could. These are the methods that we have for routing. And we talked about that a little bit. We mentioned how Express uses the HTTP protocol. So those requests, uh, a get request, a post request, a put request, and a delete request, it uses that as built in. So we'll be using those. Um, there's also static files which we could use. So you can serve up a static file. Say for instance, um, just like a PDF or something, or an image. Also, uh, CSS files or what have you. We can serve up static files as well, where it can be utilized inside of our application. All right. There's a whole lot of stuff in here in the guide. You can see like routing, writing middleware. So you could write your own middleware, which we'll do using the middleware that's already there. Overriding the Express API, error handling. How do you handle errors? This is a kind of a big one, and we'll look at that. How to handle errors using um, throw, try, and catch. We'll be looking at that. And then there's also the API references. This is kind of where I want to go to right now. So when I need help with something, if I am struggling to figure out how am I supposed to write something, I go to the API reference here in the documentation, and you can see we've seen this one. We just did this one. Uh, this express open close parentheses like so. This creates an express application. The express function is a top level function exported by the express module. Okay, so here you can see const express gets require express, and then const app gets the express function. And we ran that over here. There it is on line 20. And if I wanted to, just for giggles, let's say, and this is going to be crazy, but I'm going to say console.log app just so I can see what's happening in there. Let's go to my terminal, and I need to start this back up. So npm run dev. And when I do that, here is, let's see, where are you? Here we go. So this is that instance of express, that express function. You see all the stuff that is in here, a whole lot of things. Okay, and some of them we'll use, others we won't. Like use, we'll be using that. Set, I think we'll be using that one. Where are you? Where's the one I'm looking for? I don't see it. I don't see it. Anyways, there's a lot of other stuff. A lot of stuff in here. Param, path, a lot of stuff that you will probably use at some point. Other stuff you won't. But now you can see what is there inside of app. Okay. So there's different methods here. Express.json. We use that one right here. This no. That's not that. That's different. Excuse me. That is on the response. But there is an app.json that you can use, and where you can configure, let's say, you can configure the body of your request. Which there are times you will need to do that. You'll need to configure the data that you're getting in from the user, kind of to authenticate it, to protect it, add some security on it, minor security here, but you can do some stuff to it, or make sure that you receiving data correctly. Express.router. Now this is one we'll definitely be using, and we'll talk about that later, but that is how we can create routes our application. Let me see. I'm gonna come over here to the request, and inside the request, there's a lot of different properties and methods. For example, request.body. Where'd you go? There you go. You'll see that one. Body contains key value pairs of data submitted in the request body. Body is undefined and is populated when you use body parsing middleware such as express.json or express.url encoded, and we'll look at those and we'll use those. But what that does is, again, it creates the body of the request. It formats it and then sends that off to wherever it needs to go, into our API, and then we'll do stuff with it. Let's see here. What else? Request.params. This is how you can map the parameters from your routes, and say like your URL request. So up here, like I can get information from the URL address, okay, and I can configure it so these parameters up here will be a part of my request when I want to make a request and get a response from the browser. Request.query. As here, this property is an object containing a property for each query string parameter in the route. So again, let's say we have a query up here and I want, particular data from a particular source. Depending on how the URL is written, I can query or get the data based on the query. Then we have some methods here that we can use. And then let's go here to response. In the response, we have response.app. as you can see here. And it's identical to request.app property and the request object. We have, where are you? We have get, and we'll definitely use that quite a bit. We already did, as a matter of fact. So there's a get. We'll see how that works. There's also, where are you? A send method. We use this here, that response dot send that we had like up here. Response dot send. That is one that we use. Response.json. You can see here, as I mentioned, it sends a JSON response. Okay, so we can take an object and format it to be JSON. Response.status. So it'll take the status code, and there are different values and they mean something. As I mentioned, 200 is success. 300 is, oh, I can't remember what 300 is. And I don't feel like looking it up right now. Oh, I could though. I think I could right here. So 200 success. 400 is when you have an error. I think we've all seen that, a 404 error. That is when there is an error on the client side, or there's an error in the, say you try to type in an address that does not exist. You get a 404 error. Maybe this page does not exist. That's a 400 level error. Not found, you'll see. 500, let me see if 500 is anywhere over here. 500, I don't see it. I'm not looking thoroughly either. But 500 is a server error. So if you see a 500 error, what that means is like the server is more than likely down, or something is not working there on that level. Okay, so those codes, they do mean something. All right. And you can also create your own error codes if you want to. Or own status codes, if you will, if you want a particular status to display for something special that you write. You can create your own status code for it. Let's see. There's some other methods in here that will definitely be using router.param. Probably get to that. Router.route, router.use will definitely use that one. And so, yeah, and the router.use method uses the specified middleware that you default a path to. What does that mean? You'll see when we do it. But I just want to go over the documentation. It's a very good idea that you have the Express documentation saved as a bookmark. So express.com, have that. You want to have that bookmark because you'll want to go to this as a reference quite a bit. It's very helpful. Yeah, it's a very helpful resource for you, because it'll, anything that you want to know about Express and how you can do stuff, why something is not working, you can look at the documentation and that will help you out. So that is that on that this video. Again, I just wanted to go over that, and then what we'll do in the next video is we'll start building on what we have. Maybe we'll go and start using the database. I don't know. No, we won't. Not yet. I know what we want to do. So we got some stuff that we'll do. We'll play around with some sample APIs and see like how this stuff actually works and how we lay it out. So I'll catch you on the other side of this video.